Hey, what I got going on here, I'm gonna dump this across. I bucked that right there so it should break, so it don't blow it apart. But what I got going on here, pretty good sized red oak. Now it would pretty easily go over in there, but what I'm worried about is that fork splitting. Okay, so I'm gonna try and excuse me, I'm gonna try and lay it in here. And the reason being so the forks don't land like this and go bang and split it. I'm trying to get the forks to lay this way, right? And then I'm not gonna spend a lot of time bucking it up. I'm just gonna throw it on the ground. There's a couple more in here. There's a big one over there I'm gonna get. And I just didn't get them with Kimmy. I could, but I don't want to take the chance. And you kind of got to get above the big butt swell, and I'd like to get down a little lower on them. So, but what I'm gonna do, I'll try and do some explanation on the method that we use to cut these things out here in the east, because guys out west are telling me, you know, oh, we'll just cut that with a big bar and we chase cut it. Well, if it's a real uniform straight tree, yes, you can do that, and I do once in a while. You know, on occasion I'll cut that way if it's not a leaning tree. However, these hardwoods, number one, they're brittle. All right, this is northern red oak. Number two, you've got an awful lot of weight hanging up there, and it's not symmetrical. You know, that thing grew towards the light, so it's hanging this way. Now, if I went in like a third of the way or something like those guys do, and made a 45-degree notch, whether I did a humble, I kind of do a little bit of a semi-humble. I go up a little bit just to get my 90 degrees. But they'd go 45 degrees, and then they would start in on the back of this and just come in and back cut it. I'm telling you, I don't know what, these guys just have to try it and see. It will start cracking as soon as you get in. If you had your hinge, especially as deep as they go, like back into here, you know, 30-40% into the tree, as soon as you started in there, that sumbitch would start to, it would want to start to pull. And you get into that a ways, and that thing would just split and barberchair and destroy the log and probably kill anybody that was in, you know, close proximity. So what I've done here, I want to try and escape out here. So I already went ahead and cut some of the trash around it just to give myself a little escape route. So generally what you want to do is try and escape. You want to try and finish up on the safer side of the tree, which I think is here because I got more lean that way. So, and then I'm going to just retreat off on a 45-degree angle from the direction of fell. So I'm going to try and get my notch, my face cut. I want to kind of dump it right in here if I can, and hopefully it'll cushion it. It might still split, but I hope not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use an open face 90-degree notch, and the reason why I believe in a 90-degree notch, open face notch, is because the tree isn't falling 45 degrees. The tree is falling 90 degrees or more if you're on a hill, and hence the Humboldt, you know, the slanted uppercut to give you more than 90 degrees. But the problem is with a 45-degree notch, all right, the notch is closed at 45 degrees. So the tree would be here, and your notch closes. Now all of the energy, that's like putting a brake on that. All the energy is transferred to your holding wood. All that kinetic energy of that movement is transferred to your holding wood, and it prematurely breaks the holding wood. So then when your tree is halfway down, it's broke free, and it can go either way. It can get away from you more, and it can shoot back on the stump because your hinge wood, your hold wood isn't there anymore. By opening up 90 degrees or more, you allow that tree to almost, or theoretically, touch the ground, because you're going from here to here before your notch closes. Hence, preventing your holding wood, or holding that hold wood, that hinge wood that you establish across the tree, preventing it from prematurely breaking. So therefore the tree will, you know, and there are instances where you kind of want it to roll. There's exceptions to everything, but you know, in theory, or not even in theory, in reality, that hinge will hold a lot longer if the notch doesn't close and put all that energy back on it to pull it. So I think you'll understand what I'm getting at. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to establish that. Now, I had a guy make a comment, well, I've cut for 40 years and I've never plunge cut. Well, I don't know where he's cutting. He says he's up in Wisconsin somewhere, whatever. I don't know. All I know is I've heard and known a lot of people who've gotten maimed and mangled and destroyed timber by not getting the centers out of these. The way I do this, and the way Pete, Tater, and all of us guys out here in the East will do this, is we'll put our face in and we'll start in, we'll establish a hinge parallel with the holding wood in the front, and then work your way back out. You'll leave a little piece holding in the back, go around, get your other side, and come back out. And if the tree is big enough, which I've only got a 20-inch bar on this saw, then what I'll do is, instead of leaving an equal hinge, maybe 2.5, 3 inches all the way across it, I'll leave it a little harder on the corners, okay? And we'll build, I call them a post. We'll build a post and we'll make it like maybe 5 or 6 inches. That allows me more holding wood so I can go back in and bore that center and make sure I get the plug out of the center so it doesn't pull. So you might see me do this on this. It's pretty big for a 20-inch bar. So then I'll work my way out and I'll leave one tab in the back, clear out in the back, as a trigger or a release tab, whatever you want to call it, release wood, hold wood, whatever. And then you clip that. You'll see Stevie Billows does that in his videos. And then you clip that, and the tree, you're done. You can walk away from that tree. You're not here fighting it and chasing it, where if it does blow apart, you get killed. I'll be over there when this tree hits the ground, and I can watch it. I can watch. So check it out. I'll try and do it as quickly and properly as I can. So hopefully you get the idea. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Okay, now I want to explain some things here. Now, I probably don't have quite 90 degrees there, but it's pretty close, probably 75 degrees or something. But here's something that I want to show you. Very imperative that you don't get a lot of bypass cut right here, okay? In other words, if you bypass the fiber either this way or that way, you weaken it, especially this way. So that's a pretty close, pretty good, you know, pretty damn close. It'll hold good. Now what I'll do, I'm going to go around to the other side and I'm going to bore in and I'm going to establish I think I'm going to take a little bit of my center out here. So I'll plunge into this, okay? And I'll come up just so my dogs can get in. And I'll just snip this right here. I'll bore in and I'll take a little slice out of it. And then I'll leave posts in here. If you could visualize looking down on them, they'll look like a, you know, like a 6-inch square post on either side. Now, if I didn't think I had to bore that, which I probably don't, but I'm going to just to play it safe. I don't want to tear that tree up. That's probably a veneer log. So if I didn't, I would establish like a 2.5 or 3-inch hinge all the way across that tree, as close as you can get it. Is obviously the ideal way to do it, and that way you're not compromising. If you make it thinner on one side or thicker on the other, you know, it can break prematurely on one side and roll. So I want to try and hold that all the way across pretty uniform. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plunge in the front. You'll see me do that, okay? And then I'm going to go around. I'm going to, like I said, I think if it's going to break or if something were to screw up, I think it would go that way. So I don't want to finish up on that side. I want to be over here. So if it does get away from me, I'm at least on the safe side of it. I don't think it's going to. It seems like a nice sound tree. So I'm going to go over there and I'm gonna bore in my front, okay? And just, you'll see me rock the saw, you know, like this, and just clean out that front. Then I'll go over on that side, bore out. Okay, I'll leave hold wood in the back, a little piece of ply in the back. Then I'm going to come around here. I'm going to bore in, establish my post or my holding wood, and I'm going to come out here, work my way around. All right, and then I'll stop. You'll see me take the saw out, and I'll stand back and I'll clip that trigger or that holding wood. So the idea for this, guys, and you guys on the West Coast who are cutting a fairly uniform, you know, big straight, fairly uniform tree that doesn't pull bad, yeah, you can stand there and chase that. This, you just don't want to do that. You can't. I mean, I'm telling you, you can in certain instances. Some of these nice straight poplar, you could do that. I know it can be done on certain trees. If you are in hardwood that's leaning heavy, okay, take for instance that poplar right there, that tulip poplar. Look at the top on that. I mean, that tree, if you had a plumb bob, that center of top, I mean, my God, dude, you're out 10, 15 feet off the center of gravity. As soon as you back cut that, if you were chase cutting, back cutting, it would start to delaminate on you. It would split like shingles, and you just get killed. And then, oh, I don't want to ruin the timber, so you stand there and fight it. And that's how guys get killed. So I don't know what to say. I know people think I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've been doing this a long time, and knock on wood, I've never been hurt. And thank God, all that. I'm, you know, watch something, a jet will land on my head now. But I'm just saying, watch what I do, and I'll try and explain it better when I get it done too, why I did it. And hopefully some of the guys who say, oh, you don't know what you're doing, that wouldn't have happened. That tree that I cut in that other video was shook. It wouldn't have mattered what you did. It would have been 10 times worse if you tried to chase cut it. But whatever. I hope these guys will watch and understand, but it's pretty interesting. It's just geometry, you know? But another thing too, by having your hinge closer this way, you know, this is like a fulcrum, okay? Your hinge is basically a fulcrum. So obviously you guys know that the longer lever you have with a fulcrum and lever, the longer lever you have, the more mechanical advantage you have. So hence, if I put the hinge way in the middle of that tree and I had to wedge that, I've reduced my lever by a foot, okay? So by having my hinge out here, maybe 30% or 20% into the tree, I've got a much longer lever, which basically where you pound your wedge in is going to be your mechanical advantage. So I've gained how many, you know, thousands of pounds of mechanical advantage by doing that. So hopefully you get that. So, all right, here we go. Enough BSing. Now, you guys probably can see that starting to lift a little bit. I should be done, all right? I should be done. I might want to clip that off a little and see if I get a little deeper right there. But I should be done. Now watch what I do at the end. I'll just clip my release wood, all right? And I should be good to go. I should be able to walk away from this thing. So I'm just going to cut this one ear off and just get in a little deeper. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. In a safe place. Okay. Now, here's what you're left with, the results. Okay, so there's my posts. That's my holding wood. All right, here's where I bored in to get that center. And it's a good thing I did, you know. And then I left my trigger wood back here, and it actually wasn't pulling as bad as I thought it was going to. But I took that out. I didn't damage anything, you know. So for you guys who think I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what to say other than this is how you cut eastern hardwood. By the book, man. I mean, if you don't want to tear it all to crap, that's how you got to do it. Because otherwise you will really, and that log, I mean, that stuff, red oak's down right now, but if that run veneer, even now veneer I think is paying like 150 or 160 a thousand. I mean, you tear that butt up, you're looking at what? You got 200 feet and 10 foot of that, you know, 200 times almost, that's $300 butt. One log, 300 bucks. I mean, you guys know you got your own expensive wood other places too, but you just can't do that, you know. So, but that, and it did what, I didn't blow it apart. That's good, you know. Now, I'm not going to buck this by hand. I'll do it with Kimmy. But what I'll do here, before I start moving this around, I'll just take Kimmy and buck those leaders off. Because even moving these and picking them up and stuff, you can split them back. I don't want to do that. So I'll actually buck it off. I could do it with a saw, but I'll just do it with Kimmy. I'm going to bring her in a minute anyway. But, and then I broke my tulip off where I had it bucked, so it didn't ruin it. So, but you get the point, you know. It's a technique. I mean, it's just a useful way to do things, right? So I'm going to trim this flare off, and I mean, it doesn't take this long to cut a tree either. I'm trying to explain things because I get a lot of questions and comments on this stuff. So I thought, caught up a little. I thought maybe it'd be fun to do a vid, right? Oops. There's my stupid holder. Let's see if I can get you somewhere where you can see where I trim these flares off. Okay, that's how you do it. Another advantage too, remember, with a 20-inch bar or 24-inch bar, I got a lot more chain speed too. So a lot less chain to file. Okay, we'll cut another. Ta-ta.